Azu, and I do vocal and I play guitar.
Cool.
My name is Sammy, and I play guitar and synthesizers.
My name is Taka, and I'm the bassist.
Cool. And how did you guys get your start in playing music, and how did the band form?
Oh, well, it sort of started off as my solo project, or because like I created this EP called Melancholy Headspace like a couple of years ago, and after I released it, I wanted to do like a live band of some kind. And actually Sammy and Ben, like, they helped me record like one of the songs, and we did it together too, but the rest of it I kind of did it on my own along with my friend Rob. And around the time when I was like looking for other band members, we needed a bassist, and Taka was available at the time, so I asked him, and I asked Sammy, and also asked my friend Ben, who I've been in a band with previously. So it kind of worked out because these three guys are the people I've always wanted to play music with, but I didn't know like what kind of project we were going to do.
Yeah.
And we all happened to be in like one same project. So after we jammed out for a little bit, we kind of realized that this thing's actually kind of working out. Maybe we could kind of make it into like an actual band. So so that's how the things sort of started.
Cool. And how did you guys all meet?
Well, Taka's my older brother, so
okay.
Yeah, we know each other like through that. But Sammy and I, we've known each other since maybe like third grade or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Then like but we started playing like music, or like he introduced me to like start playing music. I mean, do you want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, one of my neighbors in my apartment building was moving out, and so I was helping her move stuff out, and at first she put a keyboard aside, so I decided that I would start playing keyboard, but then a couple days later she left an acoustic guitar, so I decided to go with that. And about a month or two after that, Kazu decided to borrow that keyboard, and so he started with keyboard, and so that's how we started.
Okay, so you kind of just taught yourself how to play?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what about you? How did you get started?
Actually, when I was in high school, I was composing my own music on a computer, but I didn't know how to play the instruments back then. So after I got into college, that's when I started to pick up my guitar, and I used guitar as more of a tool to compose music.
Gotcha.
And I've been playing guitars for over 10 years, and then that's when my brother Kazu invited me to play as a band. For bassist.
Okay, that's really cool. And just wondering, what kind of like influences do you guys have for your group, or like bands that inspire you?
It's definitely like all over the place, because we all do listen to different types of music, but I mean, mainly I guess like my guitar chops probably sort of comes from like listening to a lot of the Smiths, and like, so I mean, I learned how to play guitar through like trying to relearn like Johnny Marr songs, or I'm a really big fan of Sun-Kil Moon, so like I mainly do a lot of finger picking for my playing and such, but but yeah. And I mean, I don't want to necessarily speak for Ben, but like he probably got his drum chops from like listening to like a lot of post rock and electronic music, and we definitely got our like connections through that too. So I don't know if you guys want to.
Yeah, what about you guys?
Most of my origins are kind of like an 80s guitar, metal, and kind of stuff like Jason Becker for the more melodic things, and also Steve Vai.
Okay. How about you?
My origin came from 90s grunge, so a lot of Stone Temple Pilots, Soundgarden, those were kind of my background.
Gotcha. And how would you guys describe your genre of music? I kind of hear like what you said, post-rock or shoegaze, but like how would you put it?
It is definitely mixed. I mean, like some people who have like heard of us like kind of compared us to like American football, and I mean, I could kind of see a little bit of that just because of like the clean sound that we have, but I wouldn't necessarily say like they were my like our big influence or anything. I mean, they're a great band. they're a great band regardless. You know what I mean? But I would say it's like kind of it's like an indie alternative, but with like a little bit of the edge of like emo and some Japanese rock influence, I would say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And kind of like, since you said it was mostly like your solo project, what was the inspiration behind the EP that you released and like the different songs on it? Like, what kind of story were you hoping to tell, or what was going on during the writing process?
Well, I guess the inspiration for the EP kind of came out through just like, I mean, it's kind of typical, but like I kind of went through like a pretty big breakup, and then like and then so it's sort of like a lot of the stories kind of come through from like, I guess, sort of a self-realization of what kind of person I am, like, and you know, because like when you're in a relationship, you don't necessarily know like what you're doing because you care about that person so much.
Yeah.
But then like after you're done with like all of that, it actually kind of all comes to you, and you're kind of thinking, oh, maybe I was pretty passive about this situation, or like maybe I was too comfortable about this and whatnot. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of the inspiration sort of came through that, in a way, you know, I guess sort of just kind of learning about yourself.
Yeah. And then was this your first time songwriting, or have you been writing songs for a while?
I've been writing songs for quite a while. I used to put up songs up on SoundCloud, and I played quite a bit of solo shows, but I never actually released like an official material where I would like record with somebody and do so. You know, it was just kind of mostly like covers and some original tracks that I kind of made randomly. Yeah, but I never like put it up on Spotify or anything.
Okay. So what changed, and like why did you want to put out like an official release, and like what was the process of recording it and releasing it like?
Well, it was just, yeah, I don't know. It was because I felt that I wanted to put out something, and it's been a long time. Probably I had like some sort of like writer's block or something, like in my mid-20s, and then because I kind of stopped playing guitar for a little bit, even though I kind of like messed around at home and stuff. But I just felt like, all right, I should put out music because this is something that I've always loved doing. It was kind of a simple reason behind that. Yeah. And then your second part of the question was
like what was it like, since I'm assuming you self-released it, so what was that process like?
It was a pretty easygoing process. I recorded with Robert. He's a guitarist of the band called the Nars, but him and I, like, we got along pretty well because I do a podcast called Large K Podcast where I interview a lot of different bands.
Okay.
And through there I connected with him, and you know, I found out that he records music and kind of liked what he was doing, so we decided to just kind of do it together. And then after we released this stuff, we just kind of I just decided to, like, you know, practice these songs with like these guys right there, and then from there on we just kind of like self-released it. I mean, I didn't go to like labels or anything like that. It was kind of like a material that I wanted to put out so that we could at least like start booking shows, or so that people kind of know like what we're about. But I feel like Melancholy Headspace, even though there are like a couple songs in there that's more of like a full band material stuff, I don't think it necessarily like represents like kind of like us at the moment. So we're currently working on like a new album right now, but Sammy did help out with Comfort, and he actually played keyboard on it and stuff. So yeah.
Gotcha. So for the rest of you guys, since these are kind of like Kazu songs, how did you add your own elements to the music, and like how do you connect with it personally?
I just sat down and listened to it and just played whatever I felt like added to the emotion of the song. So that's how my keyboard parts for Comfort came about. Yeah.
And how about you?
My part was a little more difficult because I didn't really have much connectivity when I was recording any material for Kazu.
Yeah.
But and also bass is actually something new to me as well. So it's something that I'm going outside of my comfort zone.
Okay.
So there was a lot of challenge going through it when I was going some recording process for our new album we're currently working on. However, I really enjoyed it. I think a lot of my parts were kind of coming from my feeling, how Kazu interpret the songwriting when he made each of these songs. So that's...
Yeah, I mean, even though it's my song, it's basically like, you know, they have like, you know, utmost freedom to do like whatever they want to, and like,
Right,
and especially, I mean, of course, like we all kind of discuss, because like, of course, we all put in our parts in the song, and like, and I can't do too much, and each of us can't do like too much. You know, we want to try to make it equal to make it into a you know, something decent.
Yeah, for sure. And then when did you guys start playing live together, and like what was that kind of like starting out doing that together?
Just as practice, or just like shows, live shows?
Yeah.
Well, our very first live show just together as Marube was it was probably like
That was July.
It was July, or like I think it was like end of June, or it
happened pretty quick because we only started playing as a band as a practice maybe end of March or something.
It was definitely end of March, yeah.
So then we only had about 4 months of practice before jumping in.
Yeah, because like after we had like something of like 30-minute set, you know, we just decided, because we did play like some of the songs off of Melancholy Headspace, but also like we whipped up like probably like 2-3 tracks brand new. You know, and then, you know, as soon as we were done with something, we were kind of like, you know, let's try to like book some shows and see what's going to happen. And Alex from Riff Mountain happened to like, I contacted him, and then we ended up playing a show in Orange County. So that was like our very, very first experience. Of course, I was scared as hell, especially like, you know, kind of like putting this like project out, and like, you know, kind of talking about it with friends, and it's kind of like finally now's the time, you know. So, but kind of looking back at it, you know, it did happen very quickly, and I'm pretty proud of that.
That's cool. Yeah. And then speaking of shows, about the Asian Pacific American History Month show at the Smell, what was that experience like, and how did you kind of end up playing there?
Well, our friend Danny from Earth is a Death Star, who you know, who's a really great guy, by the way. And you know, every time there's like a show coming around, or if there's any opportunity, he sends us links and
that's awesome.
And puts us on. And so like, we really, really appreciate like things that he's done, like, you know, especially for this band. And,
definitely. We definitely enjoy playing with them. They have a really good vibe of sound that feel a lot of connection with the type of genre with what we play, sort of.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of like with us both, like we were even talking about like maybe putting out records and whatnot too. So, but
I think that was our third show with them.
It was our third show with them. So hopefully we'll play more shows, and yeah, so that's kind of nice. But about the Smell show though, Danny asked us if we were interested in playing at the Smell, and you know, it's like a pretty legendary DIY venue.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, where a lot of bands have played in the past. So we basically ended up playing like that. And I don't know, how did you guys feel about the experience overall at playing there? I can't be the only one talking.
I liked it. Yeah, it's a cool vibe, and I like the crowd that came out. They're all really into all the bands that are playing. And yeah, it would have been cool to play on the stage, but we played on the floor. I guess it's more intimate.
I was wondering why you guys were like, no one was on the stage, everyone was on the floor.
I have no idea, but that was kind of like what they asked us to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like after the first track, like we weren't too sure, but the mic stopped working. So then, like on the second track we decided to do kind of like this DIY hardcore thing where I just kind of like yell out the lyrics and just kind of play along. People were really into it.
Yeah, so. I didn't even notice that happened. So.
Oh yeah, and then like around the third song, somebody came up, and then we decided to like set up the mic, and it started working out pretty well. But no, it was a really good turnout. I mean, not only like our friends, but just random people. Some high school kids showed up, and you know, Andre 3000 was there for some reason.
Yeah, Danny was telling me about that. I was so confused why he was there.
You know, I mean, like my friend Daniel and I, like, you know, we were just kind of staring at him, just thinking, is that Andre 3000? And then he was just like, it can't be him, dude. Why is he at the Smell? But later on, like, we find out that it's actually him, and you know, I guess he's into the local music scene. You never know.
That is so interesting. Did you talk to him and like find out why he was there?
If I knew that it was him, I would love to find out. You know, but you know, actually, some of my other friends from like Young Lovers, you know, they play at the Smell too, and he was actually there also. So
so he just comes around sometimes.
I guess he's some consistent visitor when it comes to the Smell show.
That is so interesting.
Much respect though, especially for such a huge figure like that. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
And then, what did you think about playing there? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. As Kaz and Sammy mentioned, we had a lot of technical difficulty. However, as a show turnaround, I think we played really well.
Yeah. And then just wondering, since that show is kind of like kind of focused on like activism or ethnic identity, do you guys think that's like an important part of like your band and like raising awareness for those types of things, or was it just kind of like any other show?
No, I consider that as like a really special thing. I mean, I've been to some of the Asian Pacific American Heritage Month like shows before that. Eric Moonroomy like organizes, you know, and like whenever I see, I actually went to the one a couple of years ago where Phoebe's Guitar and Young Lovers and like, you know, those other great bands like you know, Jack Kwong played and stuff, and you know, it's kind of cool because it's good to know that there are like other Asian American artists kind of playing out there and stuff, you know.
For sure.
And I'm pretty sure like everybody's aware that like that part of it's on a rise, because you see artists like Mitski, for example, who's like a huge artist now, you know, or Japanese Breakfast or Jason. So it's,
I love all of them.
Yeah, and they're all great. So I don't know, like especially like kind of seeing that encourages like other Asian American kids to just be like, wow, you know, I could do that too, or you know, something. And it's not like they couldn't do it in the first place, but it's like a boost, you know, or like really encouraging thing, especially seeing that. So I would say like, no, it's the fact that they organize these kind of events are very important.
It's really cool. And then just wondering, like, what kind of audience are you guys like targeting, or what kind of audience are you trying to play towards?
That's a very good question. What kind of audience do you think we have? I mean, we've had some people just like come up to us and like say that we sound like a certain thing, but
really,
I mean, we've gotten things like we're like the Smashing Pumpkins or like the Pretenders or and again American Football. But I'm not really too sure what kind of audience we're necessarily hitting. I mean, we're not. I wouldn't say like we're in a category of like a lot of the popular like kind of indie acts right now, where
it is a difficult question.
Maybe it's like somewhere like between like kind of like not necessarily kids, but like somebody in their mid-20s to like older, just because like the sound is somewhat like old school a little bit, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
We're not necessarily hitting the Mac DeMarco sort of sound, but so like it's not really twangy or like
it's like pretty acoustic and like consistent throughout.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so I think people who kind of seek those out, like, you know, something of like older emo or like older like post-punk or post-rock stuff, then I would say like those are the type of people that might be like into our material.
Cool. And then just like wondering for each of you, what do you want to accomplish as musicians, and like why are you doing this sort of thing?
Well, do you guys want to start on this?
Yeah, you guys can start.
I mean, I have an answer too, but like don't make it a dead air.
Get dead air.
All right, I'll go ahead and answer. Okay. It's so that I mean all my life, or like at least like ever since I started playing keyboard or something, you know. I mean, my dream was to like always be in a band. Like that's kind of like that's always been like a thing for me, you know. Of course, like, you know, I mean, I work full time and like, you know, I do like a lot of different things, but like I think just kind of having a band like makes you look forward to something in life. That's for sure. I would say like that's like the really big thing. And you know, and especially like, you know, when you're like writing material and be able to like kind of show it to, you know, the band members, and then to be able to like showcase that to like, you know, people out there and all, it's kind of fun to see the reaction of them, and like, you know, it's kind of fun to see like how things are going to go, like, you know, where do we fit in from that. And especially like because there's so much music out there right now, and it's easy for people to like put things online. It just, I think it's really cool that the fact that like we're able to be a part of that and see how far it's going to go, or like, you know, how it's going to grow. I think that's kind of like, I would say, the thing that I'm really looking forward for, really. I mean, whether we become like a big band or not, it's just really fun to me.
Okay, cool. How about you guys?
I guess I just want to keep making songs and evolving as a musician, and I know just making songs are a very personal thing, I guess, for most people. So I don't know, just something that you can create that is something that's just unique to you, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I used to want to play in a band with Kazu the whole time, you know, since we both play music. But we come across many times, but the only issue was that we're we're into different genre. Our playing style was quite different back then. So I don't know. It just never happened. But I don't know. After we created this band project, I felt that I want to make more bonding not only with Kazu but with the bandmate. Yeah, just to have a good time.
Yeah,
besides,
it's definitely like a whole timing thing too. Because I mean, like I said in the beginning, like I wanted to have a band with like these three guys, like specifically, you know, and sure, like I've known Ben for a while, and I've known Tak for my whole life, and Sammy for like close to like almost all for my whole life.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my goals yet, to be in a band with Kazu, because even when we would always jam like over the years, and what we made together always meshed well. But yeah, now we're officially in a band.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's just kind of like the life kind of took us to some place, and of course, like maybe we could have like started in our teens or like in our 20s, or like in our early 20s, but like, yeah, I don't know. It just sort of like happened to be at that moment, like when we were all available, and it just kind of like just crossed path, so it just worked out really.
Yeah. Cool. And then something I was wondering, what about the name Marube? Like, does it mean anything? Or like, how did you pick it?
Marube is like it's I mean, it's just a name, really. I mean, we've thought about like, or at least like when I thought about like my own project's name, I mean, you could add a color and an object, and that could be like your band name. But Marube is actually like a nickname that my mom still calls me to this day. It's sort of like her baby or something.
Oh, that's really cool.
So that's, and I mean, at the time, or like, I mean, still to this day, sure, I mean, it's sort of annoying, but then at the same time, I was kind of thinking to myself, actually, that is kind of a unique name, so I just kind of like put it there because, I mean, band name's a band name at the end of the day, so, if it's something that represents me, then screw it,
Yeah, that's really cool. And then what kind of motivates you to continue like making music? Like, as you said, you're like working full time and like probably you're really busy, but like, why do you want to continue to pursue this?
Well, it's because, like I said, it's something to like always like look forward to, and especially to just kind of want to see like how the band is going to grow, and and like I said, it's just like just a really fun thing to do. Even though, like, sure, I mean, when you're at work and stuff, you're not necessarily doing music, but there's some sort of like excitement you have, and like, of course, like just like how Sammy mentioned, it's a really personal thing. So so being able to like kind of have the time to create that and like showcase it is just like really fun.
Yeah, and plus it's something that you can always work on. Like you can always get better. There's always new things to learn.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And music has always been something expressing our feelings. Unfortunately, I'm not really good with words, but music was always there to express your feeling through using your five senses.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Pretty deep, yeah.
And then I wanted to talk about some of the specific songs on the EP.
Sure.
If you guys just talk about like what it's about, or just like the process of making it. One that I really liked was Comfort, if you want to talk about that one.
Well, that's along the line of the whole breakup thing, but I mean, because like when you're in a relationship, you're just really comfortable with just kind of having someone there, and such, so I think it was just kind of like one of those like instant feeling of like, I mean, how could there be comfort when you're left alone, so it was just sort of like that wandering sense that you have. I mean, lyrically, I don't think I'm really bright, but I mean, at least like I was trying to like put some words together to see if it makes sense, and I think somehow like that song connected with like a lot of people, because I think the chorus was like somewhat catchy enough for like the people to notice, and that's actually one of the songs that we're working on like re-recording, and actually did re-record, and we're planning on like putting it out on like the album and stuff too, because I feel like that was like felt pretty personal to everybody, and it's a fun song to play also.
So when is your album releasing, and do you have anything like you want to share about that?
I mean, it's pretty much tentative at the moment, but we've been working hard on recording, and it's been a lot of fun. And like you said about the whole writing songs and stuff too, I mean, we always look forward to like recording too, and just kind of like seeing the whole result of it has been like a really eye-opening experience, because it really showcases like everybody's skills, and yeah, no, it's really exciting. But hopefully by the end of the year or something along that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so like the EP, it was like pretty like sad and introspective sounding, but like is the album gonna sound similar or like different, do you think?
It's gonna be, I would say, like, it's a mix. I mean, there are definitely some like sad tracks on there too. But I guess like the theme of the album is like definitely like introspective as well. But I mean, I did try out like different stuff also, because I would say Melancholy Headspace is like just like the name of it. It's extremely like, you know, like kind of like lo-fi and like, you know, very, very subtle sort of sounding. But this time, like, you know, we're going like pretty hard and like stuff too, so you'll definitely get like a different side of us.
That's really exciting.
Yeah. Also there for comfort, like his lyrics directly influence what I played, because I feel like I'm playing emotional cues based on his lyrics. And also for the solo, it's kind of, I try to go for a sound that's kind of like what babies would hear in like a mobile spinning, and sometimes that's the only thing that would give them comfort.
Yeah, that's super interesting. How about you? Anything to say about comfort?
Actually, for the bass of the comfort on Melancholy Headspace, like Taka wasn't around, but like actually he did create some like really awesome bass lines for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you have any like, I don't know, thoughts?
But I don't know. It gives you kind of the nostalgic feel.
Yeah.
So I kind of gave it a little kind of jazzy bass line to kind of match up with the Cause's kind of intrinsic guitar line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like playing that was like yeah, it's definitely like, that's also like another like Smithy sort of like sounding song. Yeah.
And then how about Vision? Did you want to share anything about that one?
Vision was that's kind of like how should I put it? It's very I mean, it is sort of like post rocky, especially because like the song kind of separates into two parts, and that's also another song that we're currently working on like re-recording it as well from the EP, and the new one does sound like pretty cool. But for this one, lyrically, it's about like, you know, just kind of seeing, that's also, it's very similar to Comfort, I guess, like because I was watching like fireworks during July 4th, like, you know, after like all the mess and stuff, and then you kind of thinking that like, you know, you wish you were like kind of watching this vision with somebody, but then like you kind of have this grown feeling of, nah, like I could be independent, like, I don't need any of that right now. So I would say like that's where like that whole thing comes from, like vision as in something that you could see together with somebody, but then but you don't really need that. But the song, I would say like the song itself was definitely influenced by Sun Kill Moon, because Sun Kill Moon on their album Ghost of the Great Highway, they have a song called Dukku Kim, where it's, you know, it's like very beautiful riff, and then the song itself is like 15 minutes long, but it kind of transitions into this like finger picking like acoustic parts, and then I guess that's where it's sort of like draw the influence from, is like, you know, after you play this like sort of like emo like instrumental, like, you know, kind of going into this like acoustic like ballady moment. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but in the new one, actually, instead of going into like an acoustic ballady sort of parts, like we all just kind of go hard. That's cool. Yeah, so we're pretty excited about that, like being able to show it. But that's the idea behind Vision. Yeah.
Did you guys have any thoughts about that track?
I mean, I love the lyrics that he wrote for it, and yeah, it's a very inspiring track that I'm glad I could add some things on top of it.
For sure. And how about you?
Yeah, it's actually one of the few songs that I was really excited to re-record with.
Oh, okay.
So, it had this really interesting, fun riff at the beginning that's more kind of instrumental, but towards the end, it kind of becomes more kind of subtle, beautiful acoustic guitar playing. Yeah, and it was kind of fun making my own bass line from there.
That's awesome.
So hopefully you should look forward to our new re-recorded version when we release the album.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then something I was curious about, like,
Sure.
what is it like recording it? Like, did you record it in a studio, or like, what is the exact process of like recording music yourself? Like, and like, what kind of resources do you use?
For Melancholy Headspace specifically, it was recorded in the garage actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't like a studio or anything like that. I mean,
Okay.
I guess I could have like gone through like a studio, but like as sort of like an experiment, I wanted to go with like my friend Rob's setup, and I mean he had like he had his own monitors and like
Okay.
some like inputs and stuff like that. So we just kind of recorded on his like Logic program, that he was learning. So it actually worked out because he was kind of starting off into recording. So like,
okay.
and he said he didn't really need that much like money to
Yeah.
begin with, like when it comes to just what is called payment and stuff like
Gotcha.
that. But I mean, I was still generous because like he did put in like the effort to like mix and
Yeah.
master and all that sort of things.
And for the album, are you going through the same process?
No, for the album, we're going through our friend Rolly, who's in. I mean, his studio is called Bright Light Studio, I think, but
Okay.
it's over in Orange County, and he's somebody that I've recorded in the past with a different band that I was in.
Okay.
So previously, I was in a band called Cheer Up Charlie,
Okay.
which was like a mix of screamo and like shoegaze. It's like
Yeah.
I think people have compared us with like Death Heaven, but like
Okay.
but that's how Ben and I know each other because he was in like that band, and then
Okay.
yeah, but through that, like when we were recording with that band, we went through him, and and he, of course, like he remembered me and all, and when we decided to like record this like album, first person I thought of was him, and we just been recording with Rolly this whole time, and it's been a really fun experience. Yeah.
Cool. And then this is just kind of a fun question, but do you have like a dream venue you want to play, or a band that you want to play with in the future, or just like a dream
venue
or a band that you want to play with?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, do you guys have like a venue that you want to play at or anything like that?
Hollywood Bowl would be cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Hollywood Bowl would be like pretty cool. Yeah, Hollywood Bowl, or like, I mean, just like any sort of like those known venues will be like tight. I mean, knowing Hollywood Palladium as well as like
Or the,
Yeah.
the Forum. We've seen some good shows there.
the Forum, or like
Cool.
Fonda Theater, of course. Like
Yeah.
I think those will be like really fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
like House of Blues.
oh yeah, that'd be cool. Okay, cool. And then if you want to plug your social media, or where listeners can find you, you can just shout that out.
Well, if you want to follow Marube, then you could go to @Marube Band. That's basically like MARUBEBAND. That's on the Instagram. Or if you want to follow me, then you go to @TakeBreakKazu. But that's basically like the plug, I would say, like for.
And then do you have any like shows coming up or any announcements?
We do have a show at Kasha Creamery, which is an ice cream shop over in Gardena. They set up like some showcases there. I haven't been in there yet, but I mean, I'm guessing it's extremely tiny. But it's DIY. You got to go all the way. Right? And then so that's where we're playing on July 13th. We're going on at 3:45 p.m. I think, and then.
Cool.
Also, we have another show. I mean, it's kind of like unannounced at the moment, but on August 6th, like we're planning on playing 4th Street in Vine, so we'll probably get more like details about that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's the upcoming shows at the moment.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on the show.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.